Bears at Colts. Indianapolis winning this game 21-16. I think it looked ugly at time on both sides of the ball, but hey, ugly wins are still wins. So for the Indianapolis Colts, the top 5 graded players, you love to see Edge 1, baby, at the top of this list. My top edge rusher for the 2024 NFL Draft, Laiatu Latu, with an 85.1 to lead all Indianapolis Colts players. Offensive tackle, Braden Smith next on the list with an 84.0. Quentin Nelson, their guard, 82.5 at number 3. Cornerback Kenny Moore, the second, 80.6. And then we had defensive tackle Grover Stewart with a 77.2. Anthony Richardson in this game, 53.0. Flipping sides to the Chicago Bears. Cole Kmet was the top-graded player on this team, 86.6 in this game. Safety Kevin Byard with an 83.5. Running back Roshan Johnson with a 75.1. And then 2 offensive tackles at 4 and 5. Darnell Wright with a 69.6. And then Braxton Jones with an equal 69.6 in this game. Caleb Williams with a 57.4 overall grade, which takes into passing grade and rushing grade into account there. What's the stat that told the story here, Dalton?
So, headlined by a couple guys for the Colts in that top 5. Here's what I'll tell you. Last week, I was on a Colts podcast after 0-2.
Wow, brag.
And they just lost.
Guy gets invited on podcasts.
Well, and they just lost to Malik Willis, and the sky is falling, and basically half the questions were, how do we fix this? What in the world do? We look like a mess. We're 0-2. We lost to Malik Willis, our run D and our offense and all of this stuff. And very calmly, I basically said, listen, you got an elite offensive line, just lean on it. Just lean on it, because these 5 guys are playing spectacular, even through those 2 losses, and they were spectacular for a 3rd game in a row. 79.7 overall grade as a unit, only allowed 4 pressures all day, and they were really good in the run game too. This offensive line, Ryman, Nelson, Kelly, Fries, Smith. Not too many offensive line firsts that you can name all 5 guys just right off rip like that, but they're all really, really good. They're all really, really good. These are star players up front. This is the best unit on the Colts team, and they've overtaken the Saints as the highest graded offensive line in football. Even in their losses, they were running the ball well. Mm-hmm. They were protecting Anthony Richardson well, and he just needs to make the throws when he can make them. This offensive line, they have to live and die with it. It's one of the best units, if not the best unit in football. All 5 guys are playing extremely well. I thought it was fitting, the play that sealed the game. They have 3 tight ends on the right side. They run power, and they pull Quentin Nelson around to blow up a corner to get the final first down to seal it. We are seeing all 5 guys on their line play well, and that's, again, that's the formula. They're waiting on Richardson to get better with the accuracy. You're going to go over that. Jonathan Taylor had a really nice day, but this offensive line gives them a chance to survive. It may be the best unit in football right now.
See, and my stat that told the story is sort of building off of yours, because I think the Colts should have won this game by more. The Colts should have won this game by more. This should have been a decisive Colts victory, and the reason it wasn't, in my opinion, is because of Anthony Richardson's struggles. And I hate to turn a positive into a negative here, but the Colts are just going to sort of live and die with Richardson. And the Bears did not play well in this game. The offensive line did not play well. I don't think Shane Waldron had a great game as offensive coordinator. It's been a struggle for him to start this season. This should have been a bigger Indianapolis Colts win. And the reason why it wasn't is it's because of Richardson. It's because of his inefficiencies and inconsistencies. 2 turnover-worthy plays for him out of just 20 attempts. And one of those turnover-worthy plays isn't even the throw to the back of the end zone to Ashton Doolin, which was tipped, so technically we don't call it a turnover-worthy play, but I think it's Jaquan Brisker who's literally staring at him. And if that pass actually got to the back of the end zone, I'm pretty sure that Jaquan Brisker is just going to pick the pass off because he was standing right there staring at it. So that could have been 3 turnover-worthy plays in 20 attempts, 64.7 adjusted completion percentage. You and I have talked about this with Richardson. All the talent in the world, truly. A 5-tool player, as they say in baseball, we'll say that for the NFL as well, what he could be as the quarterback. I am worried about touch with him because I don't know if that's something that he's ever going to develop. When I scout quarterbacks, accuracy is certainly one thing, ball placement is another, touch is something that is different. Accuracy can be taught through repetition. You run enough routes with the same wide receiver, you could be accurate with them. You could put, at least NFL quarterback should be. You should be able to put the ball exactly where you need to when a guy is running a certain route. Ball placement's a little bit different. That's a little bit more natural. That's okay, well, I'm a little bit off platform on this route. The wide receiver maybe got bumped a little bit. out of his release. The timing's a little bit different, but I'm still putting the ball exactly where it needs to when my receiver needs to be there to catch it. Touch is often a natural ability. It's really hard to teach it. And when you look at Anthony Richardson's game right now, touch is the biggest detractor of his passing success. The misses to A.D. Mitchell that we've seen all season long, just sailing that pass over the head of, I think it was Alec Pierce, when he was going to the sideline, that ended up being one of those turnover-worthy plays. And even the touch that it looked like he was going to put on that Doolin pass, it's just not there for him right now. And with a guy who's got a cannon of an arm, accuracy and ball placement and touch only become more important the stronger arm you have. Because the stronger arm you have, the more trouble you could get into. And so for Anthony Richardson, that is the big issue for me. They should have won this game by a lot more. He's missing open receivers that could have led to, at the very least, field goals, let alone touchdowns. And he's simply missing them because he does not have the touch on passes. Reading defenses, being a better decision maker, all that stuff, that can come with time with Richardson. But I do get worried about the overall touch. Is that ever really going to be the part of his game that elevates to a level it needs to, for him to have that consistency, for the Colts to get what they need to out of him to be a playoff and potential Super Bowl quarterback? I hope it is, because he's one of the most fun players in the league. But that is an area that, even in this win, to me, that's a stat that told the story, because the Colts should have won this game by more. And unfortunately, I think he was the reason why they did.
The other thing that stands out to me, and I like that you brought up the interception that he sailed on the corner over Pierce, is because, to me, the other thing I see in accuracy is so much about footwork and having your entire body in sync. And there's too many throws to me that he makes where his feet just aren't set.
And we could teach that, right? Like, we can get to a point where we can fix the footwork for him. So maybe there's a couple of throws in here.
Look, Trevor Lawrence had to go through the same process.
And a lot of young QBs do.
Yeah, they do. Footwork is so much about it. And that's the first thing. When I see a quarterback that's inaccurate, that's the first thing I look at is his feet, not even his release or his process or anything. I go, where are his feet at? I watched Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson went in there, and it took him a couple of months, but he went in there and he had to fix Trevor Lawrence's footwork, right? And that's how they went on that second half run in 2022. There's so many guys that I look at. I look at Sam Darnold right now. His footwork is so much better than it ever was back when he was with the Jets. It's not even close. That's why he's more accurate now, right? Richardson, that's what I see on top of everything you're saying, because you're absolutely right. It's just too many throws when his feet are just not set, or he's kind of doing it's not consistent. What you want is a consistent base. The great quarterbacks throw it the same way. Tom Brady went every summer and worked on his mechanics every summer because he needed them consistent, right? You have to be able to throw the football the same way every single time. The off-platform stuff, yes, it's great, and I know Mahomes can do it and certain guys can do it. But 90% of the time, you need to be able to throw the football with the same mechanics from the ground all the way up every time, and I don't see Richardson doing that right now. That's going to take some time, and Shane Steichen needs to work on that with them, or the accuracy won't get better.
Colts fans, if you're mad at us because we're taking a win that you had and we're talking about a negative there, both of our most impressives come from the Indianapolis Colts. So, Dalton, who is your most impressive in this game?
The good news is their defense was a hell of a lot better in this game. And right now they're using him as a rotational pass rusher, but how good was Leatu Latu in this game? You talk about a 78.1 pass rush grade, 5 pressures, a big strip sack of Caleb Williams late in the game, 21.4% pass rush win rate. This is what they were looking for. And for as much as I would like to see him on the field more, if he's going to capitalize when he's given the opportunities, then fantastic. And right now, if he's one of the best rotational edge rushers in the league, so be it. Latu was fantastic. There's a reason he was taken. He was the first defensive player taken in this draft. Just a terrific day. And if this is his role and he's going to maximize it, then the Colts are going to get a lot better as we keep moving forward in the front seven.
For my most impressive, I'm going to call out my dumbass, because before this game started, we were watching the warm-ups for this game. And I tweeted out, I said, I knew things were bad injury-wise in Indy's secondary because they've gone through some injuries here. I had no idea they were, quote, starting cornerback wearing number 40 kind of bad. And that is Jalen Johnson. And all due respect to Jalen Johnson, I did not realize that Jalen Johnson was wearing... Sorry, Jalen
Johnson's
sorry.
the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not realize that Jalen Jones was wearing number 40. He wore 17 for Texas A&M. I watched him, and I scouted him out of Texas A&M. So him wearing 17 in my head at A&M, I was like, there's no way Jalen Jones would be wearing number 40, so it did not even click to me. But he said, who the hell is Trevor Sikkema anyways in this game? And he went ahead and read that tweet. I don't know if he did, but he got 2 interceptions basically to call me out for it. So my most impressive is Jalen Jones wearing number 40, overcoming the ugly corner number, and still getting 2 interceptions because of it.
That was fun to watch yesterday, especially when he got the second interception and you just had to slouch in the chair and be like, well, I have to address this now. This is out in the open. No, yeah, what do you got against guys wearing 40s? Huh? Didn't Terrence Newman used to wear, 41?
I'm not saying – and look, Marlon Humphrey wears 44, right? I mean,
great player.
I'm not saying that, it's impossible. But as a big aesthetic guy, jersey number aesthetic guy, I hate outside corners wearing numbers in the 40s. Can't stand it.
Some of them were single digits.
It's a safety number. It's a fullback number. Right. You got single digits to choose from now. If you're a corner, you could pick a single digit number, and you're out here wearing a number in the 40s?
I saw a college corner.
What are we doing?
I saw a college corner a year or 2 ago wearing number 98.
Yeah, see, that's not cool. It's an abomination of the sport. It's gross.
You want the old limits back that they still could.
Kids these days,
they still could have worn the 40s.
What happened to the game I love?
Hey, it's working.
Who's your most disappointing?
Maybe we need more of them. I think this is the second week in a row I've done this, and this is as we get into more of these games and a few of these here. This is a theme. The Bears are not good enough to win without balance. Trevor and their running backs had 25 carries for 59 yards yesterday, and only 9 yards before contact. The Bears will go nowhere. I don't care how good Caleb Williams is or how many yards he throws for or how many Hail Marys he almost completes. If they can't run the ball and it starts getting cold in Chicago, they are not winning ball games. They're just not. They are 30th in the league in rush yards per game right now. They're 28th in rushing grade. They're 22nd in run blocking grade. If they don't find balance, and I'm about to say this is the first of 5 teams I'm about to say this with today, if they don't find balance, they are going nowhere. They will be in last place this year.
Yeah.
Because they brought in DeAndre Swift, and they have Khalil Herbert, and they have Roschon Johnson.
Right.
And Caleb Williams can run a little bit. If they don't find any sort of run game,
right,
they're going to be a mess. That's just where I'm at with this. And again, they are not the only team in football like this. There's several teams right now that are just not running the ball, and obviously we're seeing defenses sit back, and they have struggling quarterbacks and things of that nature. Look, Caleb may be great. He will be able to carry them one day. Today is not that day. Next week is not that day. If they are incapable of running the football, they have a huge problem.
Yeah, and, my most disappointing, I have Bears offensive coordinator Shane Waldron because I hated some of the calls that I saw yesterday. But honestly, just echoing sort of what you said, it might just be a overall Chicago Bears offensive line problem. That might be the most disappointing because I'm wondering at this point, Shane Waldron, he calls a speed option on 4th and 1 at the goal line.
And the play,
right?
Can I say something? The play before that, 3rd and 1 from the 1 also.
Yeah.
They ran inside zone right up the gut. They had DeAndre Carter lined up at tight end, blocking somebody off the edge 90 pounds heavier than him. The play before that. And
it's not great.
He got put on a sled into the lap of whichever back it was running for the Bears. At 2 plays in a row there, I saw that. That was more shocking to me than the speed option.
Well, that's the thing is which one is it? Is Shane Waldron calling bad plays? Because there was another situation.
I can't have DeAndre.
On 3rd and 9,
I cannot have DeAndre Carter blocking an edge.
No,
player.
obviously not. And he on 3rd and 9 later in the game, they're throwing a tight end screen sort of out towards the sideline, and guess what? It didn't pick up the first down. It barely picked up 2 yards. Okay, you're just surrendering things at that point. You're throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage when it's already a 3rd and 9. You're not even giving your guys a chance at that point. Even if you have numbers at that side, it's just such a difficult play to convert. And so I didn't like a lot of the Shane Waldron calls, but the more I thought of it, it's is he calling these because the offensive line's that bad? We just have a major offensive line issue in Chicago?
I think that could be the case with the screen that you mentioned.
Because, the screen, but also the speed option part. Does he say to himself, okay, we're at 4th and 1 on the goal line. I can't run it up the middle. I just tried to run it up the middle, and it didn't work. So let's try to get it out to the sideline. So he's catching a lot of heat. And I have him down here as my most disappointing because I just didn't love the calls here from Chicago. But I am willing to admit that he's probably at fault. So is this offensive line.
I think this is a full tilt offensive problem because let's be real, they're a Will Levis backhand from being 0-3.
Yeah,
they're all the way around.
When you put it that way,
it's not just Caleb. They are maybe the dumbest play of the year from being 0-3. And I think they have a full tilt offensive problem. Keenan Allen's out with injury. I don't. To me, I watched them. I don't.
Rome
think
played well.
Rome did.
Played well.
Dunze had his best game yet, and I don't think they have a whole lot of speed either. I don't think they're the fastest team by any means that we have in the NFL. I think there's a multitude of offensive problems right now for the Bears, and the first half of their schedule is easier than their second half. They better figure it out soon.